What's up, everybody? I got to keep it chill today. I'm taking care of a kid, so I can't be too loud. I can't be too amped, but we're back with another one. Welcome to another edition of What the Hell is Happening Sports. It's your boy, the one and only Nero, and we got Bay State Media up in this bitch. Shout out to my boy, Amari Scott.
Yes,
Amari,
sir.
what up? What's up, bro? How's everything? How's
Good,
everything?
man. Good. How about you, bro?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Another day. You know, taking care of a little one, so I got to keep it chill for the night. I can't be too loud. I can't get too crazy because I'm going to have moms on my ass and I
I,
might have a kid wake
I
up
feel
crying. So I can't. I'm not
I,
trying to deal with all that shit right now. Feel me? So, but other than that, I can't complain. Can't complain, bro. You feel me? But,
absolutely, bro.
but yeah, real quick chat. You see this title, obviously. Celtics start out 2-0. I'm at 2-0. I wish they start out 0-2. Yeah, facts. I wish. They're 0-2 right now. We're gonna get into a deep dive of their loss last night against the New York Knicks, and we're also gonna get into a little Pats preview for tomorrow. The Pats do play the Browns. Gonna be a good game, but we'll talk more about that after the Celtics. I will say real quick before we get into it, the Celtics started 0-2. It's not necessarily panic mode, but this is obviously a different team without Jason Tatum. You see the results so far that without Tatum, it looks, you know, the the
Cohesion.
cohesiveness. There you go. Couldn't even say it. The cohesiveness right now. It's not there yet because obviously with this new team, you got to get a mesh. You know what I'm saying? Now, the regular starters in Derek White, Jalen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, it's not there yet because the one guy that makes it work for everybody is not there. So having to deal with life without him at the moment has been challenging. Peyton Pritchard in the starting role kind of still has to get used to things. Jalen Brown is now the man of the team. And with him being the man of the team, it's a lot harder to score points when the defense is attacking the best player. And Derek White's shot so far hasn't been falling as well as Pritchard's. The only one that's been consistent the first couple games, shooting wise, has been Sam Hauser and whatnot. We'll talk about Anthony Simons also coming off the bench as he's the sixth man, how his results are. But yeah, and I will say we'll get into the stats and then I'm gonna ask Amari some questions what he thinks right now. But overall, fans, I wouldn't panic. Relax. It's only two games. What did Aaron Rodgers say? RELAX.
Mm-hmm.
Relax, my nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Relax, for real, for real. But other than that, let's get right to it. Quick stat deep dive, and then me and Amari got you what we think should be improvements and whatnot as the game goes on, especially with tomorrow's game against the Pistons, and also kind of just to talk about the team and see what Amari thinks should be improved and what really has to get done in order for the Celtics to really start being consistent and winning these games.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, chat, let's get right to it. All right, so obviously since the Celtics lost, we're going to start with them. I'm going to go through the stats real quick. I'm not going to read everybody's, mainly the important people. The leading scorer of the game for the Celtics was Jalen Brown. He had 23 points off 9 and 18 shooting, so he shot 50%, 3 of 7 from 3. He added 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, but he also had 7 turnovers, and 7 turnovers is going to do you justice. Sam Hauser finished with 18 points. He went 6 of 10 from 3, added 3 rebounds, a steal, and a block. Derek White had 15, 5 of 18 shooting, 3 of 11 from 3, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. Again, like I said, Derek White shooting so far this year, he's still rusty. But yeah, the 3 of 11 from 3 is not going to get you anywhere crazy either. And then 5 of 17 for the field. It's not great either. And then Peyton Pritchard added 8 points off 2 of 10 shooting. He's struggling with his shot, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. And then Neemias Queta, 8 rebounds, 3 of 5 from the field. 8 points, 3 of 5 from the field, 7 rebounds, an assist, and a block. Notable off the bench, obviously, Anthony Simons. He finished with 10 points, 4-9 from the field. He added a rebound, 4 assists, and 3 steals as well. We will talk about this guy, but it was a rookie debut of Hugo Gonzalez last night as well. He finished with 6 points, shot 3 of 6 from the field, added 4 rebounds and assists, and 2 steals as well. And then obviously for these Knicks, again, you look at that starting lineup right there. That's a starting lineup that is going to compete for a playoff spot. But most importantly, they're going to compete to try to get to the NBA Finals. The starting lineup is stacked, especially when everybody's healthy. Jalen Brunson finished with a game high 31, shot 50% from the field, 10 to 20,
Yep.
3-7 from three, 3 rebounds and 5 assists. Karl Anthony Towns finished with 26 points, 6 of 16 from the field, 4 of 6 from three. He had 13 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. And then the rest of the starters, Miles McBride finished with 10. Mikal Bridges finished with 12, and OG Anunoby had 10 points as well. Josh Hart came back from injury. It was his first game yesterday. He came off the bench, but he only had 2 points. He finished 1 of 8 from the field, but he did grab 14 boards and 3 assists. Main story, real quick, right here for the Knicks is they got to the foul line a lot. Jalen Brunson made 8 free throws. Karl Anthony Towns made 10 free throws, but they also dominated on the boards. Again, Josh Hart with 14, Karl Anthony Towns with 13, and Miles Bridges even added 6 as well as the third leading rebounder. So, winning the rebounding battle and getting to the getting fouled, going to the basket and whatnot, that is an advantage right there. And the Celtics just couldn't, they couldn't handle the Knicks. I tell you so. Again, 0-2 for the Celtics right now, but again, it's they just gotta get used to each other. It's a new team. So I do want to ask Amari, in terms of how this team looks right now, and I know we kind of talked about it a little bit for opening night. Just based off how this team is looking, especially how they've shot so far, what do the Celtics have to do in order to kind of improve on the offense? Because obviously they're taking a lot of threes, and you know how the Celtics game the game is the last few years. They're shooting a lot of threes and whatnot.
Right.
Is it an issue that to not necessarily shy away from the three, but do they have to start being more aggressive going to the basket and kind of moving the ball around?
Um, I don't think that that's the problem. I think the
Mhm,
problem is that we're making Jalen Brown the facilitator.
okay.
He had 7 turnovers, and he had, you know, relative to nobody else on the Knicks had over 5.
Mhm,
So you kind of look at that, and the turnover. There wasn't really a turnover battle in this game. Both were tied 15 and 15. They both had 15 turnovers, both teams. So
mhm,
you kind of look at this from a standpoint of, I don't think Jalen Brown should be the facilitator. I think there needs to be a way to get him open in another way.
mhm.
And I mean, it's a lot easier to it's a lot easier to stop this team when no one's hitting shots. So
Right.
I think where it's just a bad shooting first couple games, just 2 bad shooting nights. I really think if you look at the plus minus two,
Mhm.
it's really bad, bro. Like, you
Yeah.
got Tatum and Hauser both were in minus 14. Pritchard was a minus 7. Tillman and Simons were a minus 9. And although Simons had 3 steals, he was still a minus 9.
Right.
And, Jordan Walsh minus 8, and he's a minus 8 in 2 minutes. That's not good, bro. Like,
Mhm.
you get 2 minutes and you are a minus 8. There's no reason why you should be a minus 8 in about 2 minutes and 26 seconds of time. And I really think the problem is there's not a real shot creator out there besides Jalen Brown.
Mhm.
So that also make well, and I would say Derek White, but Derek White hasn't necessarily shot the best. And
Yeah.
also, you leave 5 points on the table with 5 missed free throws. If
Yes.
everybody hits their free throws, this
Mhm.
game looks a lot different, a
Mhm.
lot closer.
Mhm.
So I think it's just collectively right now. I think what they're trying to do is figure out what works without Jason Tatum.
Mhm.
And like I said before, I think that Simon should be starting.
Mhm.
I don't know why he's on the second unit. He should be starting with White because he's been a starter, and Pritchard has been a bench guy. So I really think Pritchard would definitely thrive more against playing against second unit guys. And to me, um, Hauser shot 60% from the three, but he's not going to do that every night, bro.
Right.
Like,
That's a fact.
we can't rely on Sam Hauser to have 6 threes and 6 to 8 threes a night. It's just not gonna happen. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
Derek White has to be better. Jalen Brown has to be better on defense. White, oddly enough, broke even in plus minus.
Hmm.
So at least in 33 minutes of time, he's the only one out of the starters that broke even, which tells me that he had a great defensive game.
Absolutely.
So, I just think it's a collective effort of I think it's a collective effort of bad shooting and just figuring out how to play without Tatum. It's only 2 games, like you said, so I'm not really stressing it too much. But this is a team that I'm looking at right now, just in these next couple of matchups. Um, yeah, bro, it's the defense is not it, and I think that it'll right itself. But Brown has to be a little bit more aggressive too. And like you just said, it is tough for him to ask him to go out there, guard the best guy, and then be the facilitator and then score.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that, and that's what it is. Also, it's you know, with a guy like Brown, he's so used to playing, the second fiddle because when everybody's focused on Jason Tatum, that leaves him open to do certain things or being guarded by somebody who's not going to guard the main focal point of the offense in terms of scoring,
Right.
facilitating, whatnot. Now he has to be the man, so he has to kind of get used to that role. Like, oh shit, all right, now this has got to be my team. And
Hmm.
when he has been the man, especially the games that Jason Tatum has been out throughout, they're both their tenures. This is a guy that has dropped 50 points before. This is a guy
Right.
that has had a 50-point game against the Magic, when the first time they went to the finals back in 21-22. So this is a
Hmm.
guy scoring wise. This guy could score. We already know what he could do.
Right.
What he has to really do for his mindset is in certain situations, he has to, whoever has the ball, whether it's Derek White, Anthony Simons, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, hey, give me the fucking ball. Like that has to be more of his mindset also. Now, it's not necessarily for him to say, all right, let me get the ball, let me try to force something. If you see something smart, all right, take it. But you could still pass the ball, get everybody involved. You just have to be more, you have to be more of an assassin on the offensive end, because without you being an assassin and you're relying on everybody else to try to do something, it's not going to help because you are the best player on the team right now. It's not Derek White. It's not Peyton Pritchard. It's you. You're the most skilled guy in terms of with your body going to the basket,
Yep.
driving. You are
Right.
the enforcer. If you're gonna let somebody else take control of this team, well, nigga, it ain't your team. Real
Yep.
shit. You
Hmm.
have to be the leader. And again, it's only 2 games. It's no panic mode. You could start out, mind you, the Celtics started out 0-2 back in 21-22 and made it to the finals. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
anything could happen in the next 80 games. But
Yep.
starting right now, especially going into tomorrow's game against the Pistons, again, a young up and coming team, but they do have a stud in Kane Cunningham. You have to be the guy, and you're going to their house too. You have to be the
Hmm.
guy that when it's necessary, you need to attack and you need to score. Because quite
Absolutely.
frankly, when Jaylen Brown is on, he's one of there's been times in his career that Jaylen Brown has been unstoppable to guard.
Hmm.
He just has to have that instinct, that killer instinct, and that mindset is, hey, Jason ain't here, nigga, it's my time. It's my
Yep.
time to shine. So that's what we really need to see from him. Everybody else has to play their role and shoot better. Anthony Simons, I will say, how the looks of it right now, he's better suited as starting. Because Peyton Pritchard, he's a good player, but kind of looking at how everything has been the first couple games, he's better suited coming out the bench. He really is. He's being outmatched. He's being, especially as starting wise, he's
Hmm.
being outmatched by some of these guys. Tyrese Maxey went to work on him. At
Right.
times, even VJ Edgecombe did his thing against him a couple times. He's guarded him. Jalen Brunson had his way with him. Miles Bridges, I think he guarded him a couple times, and Miles Bridges didn't have to do anything crazy because everybody obviously with the Knicks you got other guys, but Miles Bridges can take advantage of a guy like Peyton Pritchard. OG Anunoby can take it. Like he's better suited for the second role at the moment. That's where he's going to make his money. Anthony Simons, with his scoring ability, can't handle a first unit role. Defensive wise, and you and me know because we've talked about it already, the nigga can't play defense that great. Can he? Can he try? Yeah, he could
Right.
try, but he's just it ain't there. Could it get there as the season goes on? Yeah, maybe. But if you're going to put him in the starting lineup, just tell him, hey, listen, we need you to score. Play defense, but
Right.
try to play some defense, but we need you to fucking score, bro. Because even just looking at Anthony Simons coming off the bench, the first couple games, and especially, kind of sitting, he don't look happy. And when you have a guy not happy in that role,
Hmm.
it only leads to bad things. It only leads to negative energy on the team. So
Right.
hopefully they can fix that and whatnot. But again, yeah, it's it all starts with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has to step up. He has to be the man. If he ain't cut out to be the man, well, nigga, this team is fucked. Real shit.
Yeah.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So yeah, that's at least Celtics wise right there to talk about that. That's basically it. I think the one thing I do want to ask you, Amari, also,
Hmm.
how did you feel about first round pick Hugo Gonzalez last night in his debut? Naturally, there was some good things. Again, he's only a rookie, so there is things to work on. But his athleticism and his defense for a rookie, especially putting a body on guys guarding Jalen Brunson, I'm not going to hold you. He didn't do that bad. What did you think?
Yeah, he did great.
Mhm,
22 minutes of time. He
mhm,
had more time than Tillman, more time than Boucher, more time than
mhm,
Kada.
mhm,
And in that time, he ended up being a +7.
mhm,
So
mhm,
that's really, really good. He obviously wasn't really looking to score too much. He had 6 points. He went 3 for 6. So he had some of the least amount of attempts on the night out of anybody. But still, at the end of the day, like, you know, I think if he knocks down a couple threes,
mhm.
obviously that point total looks different. He went 0 for 2 for 3, but I
Right.
mean, I really like it. He was very active on the glass, 1 offensive rebound, 3 defensive rebounds, 4 in total, and 2 steals. So I think that, he's doing rookie dirty work, man. And that's really good to see that he's accepted, he's got to go out there and make plays no matter what the case may be. So he's making the plays in the right area. We don't need him to, I mean, we would love for him because he's a first round pick to turn into a very good scorer, but you
Exactly.
know, I think he reminds me of a little bit more athletic RJ Hunter.
Mhm,
I don't know if you remember RJ Hunter. We drafted RJ Hunter some time ago.
mhm, mhm,
Um, from Washington, and RJ Hunter is a sniper. So
mhm,
I think, you know, if Hugo can kind of mold that into his game, he looked great off the dribble. He didn't
mhm.
look afraid to really kind of put the ball on the floor, which is like sometimes you see that with rookies.
Absolutely. Yep.
They're kind of afraid to attack and be aggressive, but he wasn't afraid at all, and he wasn't afraid to guard either. He was confident in switching. So a lot of things to like about this kid so far.
Absolutely. No, there definitely is. And again, I'm glad he got his time yesterday. I know he almost got in the game on Monday, but obviously with matchups and whatnot, you know,
Hmm.
Missoula decided not to put him in. Maybe that could have been a difference. Also, kind of just showing how his body frame is and how he played defense. That could have been a difference for Monday's
Hmm.
getting in the game and trying to get a win. But I'm glad he made his debut yesterday, and he already has a fan in Stan Van Gundy. You know what I'm saying? Stan Van Gundy, has been a coach that has taken the team to the finals. He was actually the Heat's coach in '06, but he got fired before
Hmm.
before he got to the finals. So like he's worked, he's seen the likes of Shaq, the D Wades, he's seen the Dwight Howards, Jameer Nelson, you name it,
Yeah.
and Blake Griffin's when he coached Blake Griffin in Detroit. This is a guy who's been around a lot of stars. To see him already and him liking his game, that says a lot. So
Right.
I like where this kid's at. This kid can grow, hopefully can grow into something special for this team. And it's only gonna be in due time. This kid is young. He's not even 20 years old yet. He's a young kid. But how it looks right now, I think Brad Stevens hit on another one. Let's just see how everything plays out. But I like the effort from yesterday. At least this kid is gonna go out there and hustle and try his all to help this team win. So I'm happy for him. Hey, and it's only up for him for Hugo Gonzalez. No bullshit.
Absolutely.
One last thing for you, Amari.
Hmm.
Now, and I know we talked about this before. Chris Boucher. Chris
Hmm.
Boucher needs to see the floor more, especially yesterday with him blocking shots, being active on the boards, being active defensively. This guy needs to be on the court.
Right.
What is it going to take for this guy to get more minutes? Because the talent obviously is there. He's been on a Toronto Raptors team a few years ago that was winning. You know what I'm saying? This guy is a veteran in this league, and this guy, where when he's out there on the court, he makes impact plays. What is it going to take for Joe Mazzulla to actually see that and give him some more run?
I don't know what he's not seeing, honestly.
Right.
I mean, when nobody was hitting shots the first night, I think that early on in the game, bro, Boucher was active. He was attacking the basket. He was putting the ball on the floor,
Mhm.
setting screens, just getting himself open. And we're gonna have to do the little things like that a lot until Jason Tatum comes back. And you know what's crazy, bro? it is wild that Jason Tatum is even considering coming back this season. I think that that's crazy that his estimated time of return is April.
Hmm.
Like, I think that that shit's way too soon, but hey, he knows his body better than anybody else. He's working hard.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want him to play, but I don't want him to play this year. Like,
Right.
just let's see what we have so we can retool. If we got to move a couple guys, that's fine. I don't
Hmm.
think Pritchard's going anywhere.
Hmm.
I don't think Simons is going anywhere. And I think Simons is a great acquisition for when Tatum comes back because Simons is a great scorer. And
Right.
I would wish he would be as aggressive as he was in Portland. I just don't think he has that green light yet.
Right.
But I think we do need to give Buddy the green light because it's just obvious, man. Very obvious that this kid can score. And, Boucher too as well. It's very obvious that he can do a lot of different things on the court. And I don't think it just means offense either. He's great on the perimeter. He's pretty good down low.
Hmm.
He can guard 1 through 4, or well, I should probably say 3 through 4, or
Hmm.
well, 2 through 4. I would more so say one's not really sure, but the switchability is at least there.
Right.
And you do like that. You would like to really, really see Boucher get more minutes. And I don't know what Missoula is not saying, but then again, I don't know what Missoula is doing, bro. Like, I'm very,
Yeah.
very confused by the game plan night in, night out offensively. And it's just like, bro, I'm tired of this shit. Why are we still chucking up threes, bro? It's getting ridiculous. Like, I'm getting tired of it, bro. I
Yeah.
really am. Brad
Yeah.
Stevens has to say something. Brad Stevens has to say something to him. He really does.
I think so
He-
too. Yeah. No, it's getting fucking annoying, and especially see. Like we've talked about already, when you have a guy like Jason Tatum, you can do shit. You can do shit like that because there's more confidence on the court that there's a guy that is gonna lead you, find guys open. There's a leader out there. When there's no fucking leader out there, you got to get every point you could take, and you
Right.
got to go to the basket. Go to the basket, get fouled, and most importantly, because you even mentioned earlier, hit your fucking free throws. If you hit your
Mhm.
fucking free throws, a lot can
Mhm.
change. You
Right.
didn't hit your free throws Monday night, you lost by 1 point. You didn't hit
Mhm.
your free throws last night, you lost by 10. And your kid could have easily lost by 5. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Even making those free throws could have had a whole outcome, a different outcome in the game because again, there's less transition, less such and such. You have to hit your free throws. And the last couple of years, they were one of the higher percentage free throw teams. This year so far, nigga, no, like not nobody can knock him down, but Derek White's missing easy free throws. Peyton Pritchard's missing easy free throws. You got to
Right.
be able to hit your free throws. You got to get every point you can because again, you don't have Jason Tatum to save you. You don't. You have to in order to win games, you have to hit your free throws, but especially you have to be a lot more aggressive going to the basket because if you're 7 of 30 or 7 of
Mhm.
40 from 3, nigga, you ain't winning a lot of games being 7 for 40 on threes. You're just chucking
Mhm.
up shit. So again, only 2 games in, you got to show an improvement tomorrow against the Pistons. And again, it's a little bit easier of a team because they're still young, but you got to worry about Cade Cunningham.
Right.
But that's a team that not necessarily, I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, they should win. No, but with experience on the court, you should have an advantage. So hopefully they can take that advantage. But at the same time, you know how this team looks right now. If they start out 0-3, I'm not
Mhm.
surprised. It's a different year. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's going to be a lot of growing pains with this team. I'll tell you that. And we're seeing the beginning of it. But hey, again, uh, let's see what happens tomorrow in Detroit. Hopefully, it should be a good game. Let's see. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the Pistons. I
other
think
than
the Pistons will. They have such a good defensive team. I think it's gonna be ugly.
it could very well be,
I think
honestly.
it's gonna be ugly, bro.
Yeah, it could very well be. And that's the thing also, like, you know, especially now, the Celtics aren't a lock to win these games for real. They're not.
Mhm.
And especially them giving one away on Monday. Yeah, you're looking at it now, it's shit. Damn. We shouldn't have gave that game away because especially last night and even and Sunday, like it's more of a challenge now. It's really going to be hard to win some of these games when the last couple years it was no brainers. You'll be able to win these games. Now
Right.
it's going to be a gauntlet. And again, even for the Pistons, I will say before we head into the Patriots, I like what Ron Holland has done the first couple games.
Mhm.
Cade Cunningham is Cade Cunningham, and this is without Jaden Ivey. Jalen Duren, is a smooth big man. He's still coming into his own, but they have pieces on that team. Even the elder Tobias Harris still chips in. There's pieces on that team that can win a lot of games, and Doug Robinson was just added to that team. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's some more shooting. They're gonna be tenacious on defense. Hey, it's it should be a dogfight tomorrow, but quite frankly, like even Imari said, it's the the Pistons might dog walk these niggas, real shit, and
Yep,
it's
they
sad.
might.
It's sad. It's sad, but yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see what happens tomorrow. But I will say, we get to see what happens tomorrow after the Patriots game. No bullshit. With that being said, oh man, Amari, you are 5-2, 4 straight games. How do you feel about the Cleveland Browns coming into Foxborough tomorrow? What do you think Drake May has to do in order to get 5 straight wins for this team?
Um, you know, oddly enough,
Mhm.
I think this is where Drake May comes back down to earth a little bit.
Okay, okay.
Um, I think it's gonna be a weird game, bro. It's gonna be a really weird game. I think he's gonna come back down to earth,
Mhm.
and I'm still sitting on my thoughts here. For the rest of like up until 12 o'clock tomorrow after
Right,
my
right.
flag football game. But my pick right now is the Browns. I just think that the defense, Miles Garrett, is gonna chase him around all day. Even though last week it was a great week.
Mhm.
The offensive line. I was watching the All 22 film
Mhm.
the other day, and the offensive line is still a little bit questionable. Like it's really actually not as Drake May what he's doing behind this offensive line that actually isn't playing up to its full ability yet. Still in the seventh game, we're past the seventh game of the season. So for me, it's kind of just like if he's doing this, I wonder how it's going to hold up against the Browns defense.
Right.
You go up against a couple other teams that aren't the greatest teams. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I just really don't think he's really faced um, a a truly truly elite defense yet.
Yeah.
And I think that you know going up against the Titans, not really a good team. The Saints, not really a good team. The Bills, not really an elite defense. The Panthers, not a good team.
Mhm.
Well, actually, I guess you could say the Steelers just because of their veteranship.
Yeah.
You probably could say the Steelers just because they have T.J. Watt, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, who's been getting cooked a lot recently. But
Mhm.
I would actually consider the Steelers a good enough defense where it gave them a challenge because they did lose that game. And then the Raiders are not a good team either.
Mhm.
So I think now with the Browns having a very, very elite defense, they're 2-5. I think Dylan Gabriel's playing, right?
Dylan Gabriel is playing, yes.
Yeah, so I wonder how Dylan Gabriel is going to look against this defense because our defensive line has been pretty good.
Mhm.
So I think that it's going to be a test for Dylan Gabriel in a different way, and a
Right.
test for Drake May in a different way. Where if Drake May dismantles this defense, it's really time to start having a conversation of whether he's the front runner for MVP. Like I'm just being honest. As
Right.
much as I love the idea of Daniel Jones, it's because he plays in Indy, so they're not even gonna really. I doubt they're gonna look at him until later on in the season to see if he makes a serious push for the wild card or if they make the wild card outright, which I think they are going to make the a wild card outright.
Right.
Um, I think it's very fair to say that Daniel Jones and Drake May are playing at a level that's hard to match across the league so far with a lot of these quarterbacks, and some of them are injured, like Lamar Jackson, Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels. So I'm sure some things would look a little bit different if some guys were healthy,
Yeah.
but and Joe Burrow as well. So I think May he's got a lot. Well, not a lot to prove tomorrow. I think he's got. mm, Yeah, I mean, yeah, he does have a lot to prove tomorrow in
Mhm.
terms of if he's going to make it to the MVP. And then Dylan Gabriel, does he belong in this league? I
Right.
think that's a question a lot of people are having. And then he's going up against this Patriots defense. So if anything, if he can go out there and put some points up on the road, shoot, man, I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. It's going to be a real defensive battle.
For sure.
And
No,
and if
I
it's
agree.
not a defensive battle, Drake May is going to dismantle that team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
And
could go one way or
no in
the other.
between.
Yeah, exactly. It could go, and that's how life is in the NFL. Who we think should win sometimes it goes the other way. Or if we think it's going to be a defensive battle, especially
Yep.
two defensive teams, it might be an onslaught. Or if it's two, onslaughts of teams offensive wise, it could turn like that's how the NFL works. That's how
Mm-hmm.
it's unpredictable. And quite frankly, for this Browns team, there's a Hall of Famer. There's a Hall of Famer who lines up on the right side of the field every week against the left tackle in Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
Myles Garrett, not to say he's going to feast on Will Campbell, but this is Will Campbell's biggest test yet. This is a guy, that obviously being the fourth overall pick this year going up against the first overall pick from 2017. Myles Garrett has had a hell of a career.
Mm-hmm.
This is a kid right now that he's in through 8 weeks. Well, no, excuse me, through 7 weeks. We're not in a week 8 yet until tomorrow. Through 7 weeks, he's given up 2 sacks, but he's seen the likes of Joey Bosa. He's seen, mainly Joey Bosa, at least on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to limit him. Now, Joey Bosa ain't the same player as he once was due to injuries. So, but at least he was able to, handle him. He didn't impact the game when they did play the Bills Sunday Night Football. This is a guy right here that is so unpredictable in some of his moves that Will Campbell is going to have to learn a lot on the fly. Now, knowing the Patriots and knowing Josh McDaniels, he's going to give help to Will Campbell at times. Drake May is also going to throw a lot of quick passes. Cool. You just, on certain plays, though, Will Campbell has to have that dog in him to just not let Myles Garrett get by him. Because if Myles Garrett gets by him, nigga, Drake May's in trouble. No bullshit. And as well as even through for the rest of the Browns defense, you have to obviously you're worried about Myles Garrett. You got Denzel Ward covering whether it's Steph Diggs or Kayshon Boutte on certain plays. You now have Tyson Campbell, who just came to Cleveland a couple weeks ago for Greg Newsome. He played a hell of a game last week. He's coming on. He's still on a little bit of a hot streak. Grant Delpit is in the back end. Rookie Carson Schweschinger is having a great rookie year so far. So this defense right now is pretty stout, and they still got Mason Graham, who's a top 5 pick this past year, this year with Will Campbell, drafted right after Will Campbell. Actually, this is a team that really, even though they're 2-5, they're still hungry. It's not like they're going to try to go, especially defense-wise, they're not going to try to go out there and, lose a game. No, this team is going to try to win any way they can. So if they have to win games on defense, they can. And this Patriots offensive line will be tested.
Mm-hmm.
But Drake May, and like you said, Amari, Drake May really has to basically play a perfect game in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Only more so not turning the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be able to find his open guys. If he sees a lane, take it. But one other thing I will say, this nigga better slide. Because if he don't slide, you got guys like Grant Delpit in the back, and Delpit's a hard hitter.
Right.
You don't want parts of that. Carson Schweschinger even's a hard hitter too so far. He's put a nice couple hits. He has to be able to slide. One mistake right there, a lot of shit can change. This is a tough Browns defense. They're led by Jim Schwartz. I tell you, man, it should be a dogfight tomorrow. Quinshawn Judkins is on the offensive end with Dylan Gabriel. The Pats haven't allowed a 50-yard runner so far this year. Hopefully that streak continues, but a guy like Quinshawn Judkins, especially how tough he runs, even the defenses has to be cut out for a little bit of shit. So, it should be a good game. It should be a good game. This is the Bill Belichick Bowl. Nah, I'm just bullshitting. Fuck that nigga right now.
Yeah, he said that.
Sadly. Oh, my fault, Chad. My fault. This isn't these Browns ain't the Bill Belichick Browns. The Baltimore Ravens were the Bill Belichick Browns. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, it should be a fun game tomorrow. One last thing before we get out of here. There was some news that came out earlier today in regards to the Jacksonville Jaguars taking calls, listening to calls for the wide receiver. I'm blanking on his name. The wide receiver for the Jags.
Oh, Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. Appreciate you,
Yeah,
bro.
that's
It's
not
it,
gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen either. I really don't. Yeah, like it's
But
one of
then
those things.
again, you can never know with the Jaguars front office. Like you really never can know. Like,
Exactly.
yes, you would think that, like, if we were in his position, yes, duh, you need to keep him for Trevor Lawrence because they're both so young.
Mm.
But like, you never know. Like, I don't know. What if they want like Stephon Diggs or something?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I might be like, word, give us BTJ then. What?
Right. Right. Exactly. And it would be fun to have him on his team. If something like that were to happen, you
Hmm.
know, at least he's in a better situation because now, you're in a wide receiver room, hopefully with Stephon Diggs, hopefully, because you never know how these trades could play out. But if
Yeah.
he were to get traded and Stephon Diggs is still here, which I'm sure he would be in a sense, at least you got a guy, a veteran that can show you the ropes, work on your catching. I know he's had a tough year dropping balls and whatnot, but you're
Right.
playing with a quarterback now in Drake May that, even though Trevor Lawrence can air it out, Drake May, Drake May is Drake May. You know what I'm saying? I would
Right.
feel confident in Brian Thomas Jr.'s ability to succeed here. You could give up a first round pick for this year because your first round pick, if all goes well, should end up in the 20s.
Hmm.
But also it gives you a guy. It really, truthfully, it gives you a guy that can stretch the field. This guy has some speed. He was last year he scored 10 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards as a rookie, made a Pro Bowl. So this guy so far in his young career has a little bit of pedigree to his name, being successful like that. I know this
Right.
year has been a down year for him, especially dropping passes.
Hmm.
I don't know if a change of scenery is necessarily, is necessary for him at the moment. I wouldn't give, if I were the Jags, I wouldn't give up on him just yet.
Hmm.
But if they somehow do, if Shad Khan, does pull that trigger, I mean, shit, if the Pats could pull off something like that, that would be smooth. If I were them, though, in terms of trading people, you know, obviously you got the rumblings on Kyle Duggar, Keon White, and even Anthony Jennings. Knowing them, knowing the Jags, if you want to take Kyle Duggar and Keon White and the first round pick, maybe a couple more picks also, because again, it's a rookie that was just drafted last year and he was drafted in the first round. Cool. But the Patriots have to know if they're making that trade, you have to be confident in making that trade. Everybody has to be on board making that trade. You don't want
Hmm.
another situation with the Titans a few years ago when AJ Brown got traded for nothing,
Hmm.
basically. And you got and the people you got back didn't do shit for you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So,
Hmm.
if they were to do something like that, cool. But right now, how this team looks, I'm fine with how it looks. Just add on the defense. If you want to add
Right.
a running back certain position, that's fine. But if you're gonna go after a receiver like that, you have to be sure it's the right thing. You don't want it to end up being a mistake. So do your
Right.
research, really think about it if you're the Patriots front office. But hey, a guy like that on this team, I wouldn't be opposed. I would not be opposed. But then
Yeah.
again, also, if I'm the Jags, if I'm other teams too, and you have the capability of getting a guy like Brian Thomas, hey, by all means, that's a weapon. So
I just am curious as to what we would have to give up. But a first
that's what I'm
round pick
saying
would
too.
be the
Yeah,
first round pick would be completely fine though. I can live with
right,
that.
right. Me too. Especially for next year too, and that's for sure. If give it up for next year, because again, yeah, I get that Vrabel wants to develop this team, and by all means, you should, especially drafting guys. But
Hmm.
if you're like I was saying before, if your first round picks in the 20s, and how a lot of people are saying too, if it's in the 20s, you can live with that.
Hmm.
Because you're competing right now, but you're also trying to get a guy to continue to develop with Drake May to make these guys a bona fide duo. So that help that certainly helps out. But again, it has to be worth their while to really do that, because again, you don't want to look at it 2-3 years down the line and hypothetically, if it don't work out, then it's like, damn, we wasted a first round pick. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
everybody just has to be on board. Everybody just has to be on board. But if I'm Jacksonville, don't give up on the kid. It's only year two.
Yep.
I get he's having a little bit of a sophomore slump, but again, shit like that happens.
Yep.
Don't give up on him yet. And if you do give up on him, well, it's not like we've seen it from the Jags before. You
Right.
feel me? Especially in the last 15, 20 years, how that organization has been overall, yeah, it ain't the same. Tom Coughlin ain't there no more. He hasn't been there in a long time. It's you know what I'm saying. It is what it is with them. But
Yeah.
Some more news today. I will say, I know that at times we cover BC football. BC
Yes, sir.
again. BC has took another L today. They've lost 7 straight loss. They lost to the Louisville Cardinals 38-24. Lewis Bond finally caught his first touchdown today. Kalen Chudzinski, his father is on the coaching staff. He's a true freshman. Did catch a touchdown today. A couple bright spots of that, but other than that, yeah, the BC Isaac Brown for the Louisville Cardinals, who will get drafted high. That will possibly next year if he comes out early after his junior year, he will get drafted high, over 200 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Yeah, BC 7 straight losses. Yeah, it really doesn't look good, and especially losing last week to UConn. Yeah, that right there, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Definitely.
I will ask you this, Amari, before
Hmm.
we get out of here. In terms of
I did watch the game today though, because
Oh, you did. Word.
yeah,
Okay, man.
I
So,
did.
yeah, I watched it too for some parts. I had to deal
Hmm.
with a kid also, but from what you watched, like overall, how this team looks right now, have they? It seems like they've given up on each other. Would you kind of agree with that?
Um, Honestly, not really. And the only reason why I say that is because today I felt like it was a stronger showing than a lot of the showings earlier on this season.
Mhm.
Yeah, remember this is well, I mean, as you know, this is a 1-7 team. Chat, you got to remember this is a 1-7 team. This is
Yeah.
not a team, that has always been a great team enough to like get to a bowl game enough to a certain point in
Right.
recent memory. But they're very good at producing obviously NFL talent. So I don't want to just rag on them too much. But
Right.
today
Right.
against the 19th ranked team in the country, um, I thought it was a very much better showing, and it's signs of positivity going into the next week. You look at the way you look at the way that James played today, despite the 2 interceptions. I mean,
Mhm.
244 and 3 touchdowns was awesome, and I felt like he was really reading the field pretty well, other than obviously the 2 mistakes. But he's
Mhm.
young, you know what I mean? He's a young player in the system, so I think that this Boston College team, that yes, there's a lot left to be desired, but
Right.
offensively today, a way better showing. Defensively, obviously, you know, it
Yeah.
wasn't that great rushing wise. I mean, they shut Moss down for the most part.
Mhm.
He only had 187 and a touchdown,
Right.
and he had a pick. So if the rushing defense was there, this whole thing might tell a different story. Now, what people also don't realize too is that it was 24-31 at one point, and BC had the ball, and then they gave it back to Louisville, so they
Yeah.
weren't able to score. So that was obviously the punch there, and then obviously Louisville finished the game with a touchdown to make it 38-24, and then it was Louisville coasting for the rest of the way there. So honestly,
Absolutely.
I'm not too upset with the showing today offensively. Defensively, obviously, the rushing defense was obviously the factor. But yeah, man, it was a good game to watch. I actually, because I watched it because I'm like, I wonder if he's gonna go live tonight, so I just want to be prepared.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, honestly,
yeah.
yeah, no, what overall throughout the game, there was a lot of good
Oh,
stuff.
my fault. This too.
Mhm.
Yeah, Louisville also won. Finish was the last leg, and I won $100. So that was,
There you go. There you go. And
thankfully I
quite
didn't
frankly,
take
yeah,
thankfully I didn't take a BC upset today, which I was actually really contemplating it. But
type shit. Yeah, no, because even so, yeah, no, you just hope that, and mind you, this is BC is one of 2 teams to not win a game against the FBS team so far this year. Their only win came
mhm,
against Fordham, who's a FCS team, week 1. So
factual.
they have lost 7 straight. So yeah, BC has not played anybody in the Power 5. Especially, and even in the Power 4 conferences like the UConns. They couldn't get it done against UConn.
Hmm.
So it's tough. Bill O'Brien, they do still have a lot of young guys playing now due to injuries. Um,
I was
you know,
also was mistaken. I thought James was a junior. He's actually a senior. I
yeah,
apologize.
no, you're good, you're good. But
Hmm.
and I was gonna say even with James too, you know how James has played the last couple games also, especially now from being a backup to being back as a starter. It's been good to see that he still is able to make some plays. I know he got unlucky with a couple of the interceptions that he threw
Mhm.
today, and also Lewis Bond fumbling early on in the game. That didn't help, but
Yeah.
at least I will say like these guys do show the fight, but you can kind of tell when, especially today, when Louisville scored, it kind of took the heart out of it a little bit. But I will say, at least these kids kept on fighting. They have to do better against the run again. With Isaac Brown and Kajon Brown, both of them, and even Miller Moss, combining for 300 yards on the ground. A lot
Mhm.
of the time, you're not going to win games like that. And they ran for over 10 yards of carry. So, you got to do better against the run. I know there's a lot of young guys playing. A lot of guys are hurt. But even for them, hopefully not a lot. You won't have a lot of guys transfer out. If you do, you got to make what's due and get some more guys in the transfer portal. But,
Mhm.
you know, I do like that Bill O'Brien is leading the charge. Soon enough, there will be change. It's going to be a
Right.
little bit of a process. It was a nice year last year. This year, obviously, hasn't gone the way it's been gone, but hopefully this team can get back to the heights, from the early days. And even when we were younger, from the Matt Ryan and all that, Luke Kuechly,
Yep.
so it'll take some time. Um,
I will say one thing too. A great player. A lot of people don't pay attention to this position,
mm,
but I think it's time we start talking about, is Luca Lombardo going to make it to the NFL? Because he's 23
mm,
for 22 right now on all
mhm,
kicks. He's 100%. And this kid is just laser focused. You look at it, the yards that he kicks from, he's 2 and 2 from 29, and from 2029, from I think 30 to 39, he's like 3 for 3.
mhm,
From 40 to 49, I think he's 2 for 2. Like, I don't know what I forget looking at the numbers there for earlier,
mhm.
but um yeah, he's basically aced every single one. And then 50, 50 plus, 50 yards plus, he's 2 for 2. Like, this kid is lights out. Um, he's killing it in the extra point game too. Which obviously in college it's a little bit different, clearly
Right.
because it's closer, but still 100%. And then you look at obviously those field goal numbers, it dude, he's killing it. And I hope he does get a shot in the league, because 100% is hard to do. I don't care what level of kicking you're kicking at, for
That's
real. A
facts.
hundred percent, and then to go 100% on a D1 program, going up against some pretty good competition, like,
Yeah. Mhm.
I think that's definitely a player that they might produce to the NFL this year. I'm not really sure about Lonergan or a couple other guys, but you
Absolutely
know
right. Yeah.
that
And
he's definitely a bright spot.
no, for sure. And no, and that's good that you mentioned that also, because no, I feel like even at times in a tough season for them, I will say truthfully, the one positive is Luca Lombardo. Again, being able to make kicks like that, and especially whether it's from long range, short range, making all your extra points, every point that they're asking you to make, whether it's after a touchdown, kicking a field goal, it's perfect. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? At least he's providing some points for the team, and that's all you
Yep.
could ask for. And quite frankly, if he were to get drafted late, not undrafted at all, he should get a shot in the league. He should.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, some
Yep.
teams are paying attention to him. Again, BC is a school that does produce NFL talent. They might
Hmm.
not necessarily win a national championship game or get to a national championship. They might not necessarily
Anytime
get to a
soon,
high pool game. You know what I'm
unless we
saying?
get some better boosters.
Exactly, exactly. We gotta chip in with that money to get some of these niggas over here. I'll tell you that.
Yep,
If we can do
exactly.
that, hey, we might be all right. But
Yep.
overall, hey, you're gonna have a BC kid end up in the league this year. Whether it's him, whether it's Jude Bowery,
Yep.
Quintavious Hutchins, somebody like
Mhm.
that, they're gonna produce some talent. They always do. Somehow, some way, you're gonna have a guy from this program get in the league. So
Mhm.
I'm glad he's doing well. I will say one last thing on this team
Mhm.
that I will say that I feel for, because obviously now Dylan Lonergan has been benched, and not what like, and also to give it to see how the season is and whatnot. You kind of also want to save him too, because you don't want him to get, especially how this offensive line has played at times due to injury. You don't
Mhm.
want this kid. You don't want this kid getting badly hurt. So, and Lonergan wasn't necessarily playing bad. It was just sometimes his guys would let him down too. So,
Mhm.
he should still be in the fold for next year. I believe he'll still be the start. He'll end up being the starter again. He got the
Right.
talent to take this team somewhere, that's for sure, and
Mhm.
win some games next year. The guy I want to mention, and I'm honestly worried about him leaving. Do you think Reed Harris is on this team next year?
Mm,
Yeah.
that's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
Um, in all honesty, if I'm going to be honest, probably not, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the sad thing too, because they definitely could really use him next year. And yeah, I think he will probably will be on his way out the door.
Yeah.
It's
I
sad,
can
but
no, I no, and I agree because I'm not gonna lie, E. I see one of these, one of these Power Five programs, like a top one,
yeah,
giving him some NIL money because he has the talent. He actually really has. He's the type of build that he is, and the type of player that he is.
yep,
He's a top 3 round draft pick. He really is.
absolutely.
He really is. He really is. And quite frankly, if he were to go to another program, a strong program with a nice quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
he could be a fringe first rounder, maybe early second rounder with his talent. Because
Yep.
he who he actually reminds me of low key for real.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of a Mike Evans. The way how he can go
Yeah.
up and get these balls. He can pause. He can
Yeah.
no, he can no, my fault. Chat, please don't come for me. Chill, chill,
Yeah.
chill. But he can really catch. He can go.
Mm-hmm.
He can. Now, but he's especially last year too when the team was succeeding
Mm-hmm.
as a young guy. And mind you, he was a quarterback at one point. He's a
Mm-hmm.
receiver. He's a quarterback turned receiver.
Mm-hmm.
This kid on 50-50 balls, man, he's nice to watch. He's nice to watch. Um,
Yeah, he's having a rough month, unfortunately.
yeah,
Now it's like towards the end of the month. He had a great month of September. Most of his yards came in September. But
right.
he has a higher the yards average at least is the same. But yeah, not really a lot of targets here in October, which kind of sucks. But
It does. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you kind of want to look at it objectively, like you said. Excuse me, the potential is there,
Mhm.
and it's funny because he plays the best in the first half that he does in the
Yeah.
second half. I feel like
Yes.
for his second half he kind of disappears, and I don't know if that's due to coaching scheme or whatever the case may be, but he doesn't really get those types of looks in the second half. But I think that yeah, he probably could be on his way out the door.
Mhm.
Or then again, remember he's a sophomore too, so like
Yeah.
it also could be he stays one more year maybe
Right.
and sees what he can do his senior year if he can go to a Power Five school or at least like a Big Ten school, Big 12, SEC, any of those divisions. Like
Mhm.
I could see him 100% probably trying to do that, but I think he'll probably be here one more year, just
Right.
because there's a lot to shake out on the roster. But if they can somehow keep him, like, I think that would be healthy for them to keep him. Like, yeah, he's young too, another young
Right.
guy.
Right.
So, you kind of want to see if if we can, maybe if he breaks out here towards the end of the season, why not throw some NIL money at him? He's actually one of the most popular people at the school, like on campus and stuff. Very well liked kid, great. Rumors are he's great academically.
Right.
So there's a lot to be desired with him, even just as a person.
Mhm.
So yeah, man, I hope that Reed Harris definitely stays, but it is looking like you said, more so, more and more, depending on how the situation unfolds, um, or the rest of the season unfolds, as far as I should say that. Yeah, he definitely should stay here, but he's probably not going to be here, bro.
Yeah.
It does suck, but I'm trying to look at it on the positive side.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. No, trust. I want this kid here. I really do. No, I
Hmm.
think he's a good he's a good fit for the culture for this
Hmm.
BC program. But again, how life has changed now in the NCAA with this NIL money, you
Hmm.
could throw if you throw a couple a couple 1 million, a couple million at this kid, especially a
Hmm.
large program. It's some of these kids, especially who want to be able to take care of themselves and and their family financially early on.
Hmm.
That hey, he could very well end up leaving. It would be sad if he does. Hopefully he does stay to continue to build with this program. But yeah, no, that's a kid right there that a Dan Lanning could try to go after
Right.
who a Kayla. I wouldn't necessarily say Kalen DeBoer, but guys like that could very well look into this situation right now, like,
Yep.
what about this Reed Harris kid? Let me find out more about him. Let me get in contact with him. You can do that now.
Yep.
You're probably gonna
Yeah.
have to do that
Yeah.
after the season, but you can. You can do that now.
Yep. This is
Nobody,
real.
truthfully, Amari, nobody's really safe, and that's just in general.
Yep.
Nobody's really safe anymore. No bullshit.
Yep.
You
And I
know,
feel like
so
that's also a good thing too, bro, because it gives these kids opportunity, bro. I mean, they were getting fleeced for fucking years, bro.
yes, indeed,
For
indeed,
years, bro. And
indeed.
it's good to see that these kids are getting their due because, I mean, there's a lot of talented guys out there. It sucks what happened, but thank God Drew Allen, this whole NIL thing is good because Drew Allen, that poor kid, bro.
Yeah,
That poor kid, bro. He's good. Unfortunately, man, his season's done, and
yeah,
he's a senior, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah,
I
I
think he's
believe
a
so.
senior, bro, and so hopefully he has at least one more year of eligibility left.
Yeah,
So
and if I were him, I'd start fresh somewhere. I'd start fresh
I
somewhere.
don't think so. I don't even think so.
Oh, for real? Okay, okay.
Yeah, I don't even think he goes somewhere fresh. I think, Penn State, they would look a lot different with him there, obviously, right now.
Right, right, right,
So I don't even think you leave. I say, Penn State, he made the CFP. So when
right.
you play a full season, and he was younger, and the intangibles and the stuff he showed this year so far, um, there was definitely significant improvement. Problem is, bro, is that Penn State they just don't have great wideouts. They have a great offensive line and a great running game, but they just don't
Yeah,
have great defense. Their wideouts has just always been a struggle. And
mhm,
I also think Aller does have processing speed problems, but in general, I think the NIL has changed so much in terms of just like players getting their dues now because if something like that happens to Aller and his stock plummets because of it, like then at least you're getting paid. You know what I mean? You can take your money or go do something else, or you can go put your money into, let's say you want to go and start doing cryotherapy and all this other stuff. You have the money to do so.
right.
Now you have access to NFL things
Mhm,
because of the money that you're making. So I think that it's good that, you know, I hope that Reed Harris does, we throw some money at him.
right.
Because is he on scholarship or he's on NIL right now?
That's a good question. I believe he would. I believe
Because
he's
it's
on
two different
scholarship.
things.
Yeah, I believe he is on scholarship.
Hmm.
He should be getting some NIL money though. He should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Reed Harris, just like Lewis Bond, just like the
Hmm.
Lonergans. Like he should be getting some form of money. He's probably not
Hmm.
getting some crazy money at the moment, but then again, that's what's going to lead to an advantage of somebody else. Hypothetically, a Dan Lanning,
Hmm.
somebody like that to say, how much you making?
So I have a question for you too, though.
Yeah.
So there is a player I really like on this BC team, and this is a
Mhm,
question of is he even going to be here next year?
mhm.
What do you think about KP Price, bro? You think he's going to be here next year? I mean,
Honestly,
he's
yeah.
leading the team in total tackles.
Hmm.
Um, you know, a lot of them are solo.
Right.
34 solo tackles. I did remember that from earlier looking at it.
Yep. Yep.
Um, dude, this kid he's only a DB, so him leading the team in tackles just goes to show you the skill level, the athleticism. He has one
Right.
interception on the year, but
Right.
not a lot of people throw his way.
Exactly.
So, do you think he'll be here? I don't know.
I really
That
don't
might
know either. Yeah.
that might be a guy who might go before Harris, honestly.
Honestly, now thinking about it, yeah, he could very well be on his way out too, you know. And it's only to say because of how well he has played.
Mhm.
And mind you, this is a different situation from Reed Harris because at least, Reed Harris has had a tough month. The skill level was
Mhm.
there with him, but he's had a tough month. KP Price, and I know KP Price was injured early on,
Mhm.
but when he's healthy, he's an impact player, and he was an impact player last year too.
Yep.
If I'm looking again, just like with Reed Harris, if I'm looking at how this team is playing out, how this program is playing out,
Mhm.
if you give him some money and it's a better situation,
Yep.
he could and he could very well go. And quite frankly, if he ends up in a better situation and his play skyrockets due to being in a better situation and a better defense,
Mhm.
this is a kid. This is a kid also that even in this new situation, it'll take him to new heights being looked at in the
Mhm.
draft because he has it. He really does have a lot of talent to be an impact
Mhm.
player early on
Right.
in the NFL. Like who he reminds me of, not and it's not necessarily skill level, it's more aggressiveness.
Mhm.
He reminds me of Mikey Samerso.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
Shout
who
out
he
Mikey.
actually
That's
reminds
that's
me of.
our guy.
Yeah, exactly, and that's who like aggressive wise.
Mhm.
I know they're two. They're two. They're kind of different, more so because you know, Samerso is more of a slot. He can play on the outside, but he's more of a slot corner. I know at times, even at Michigan, he lined up
Hmm.
at safety too, and he also started out as a receiver. So he's a guy with the skill level. He's like a more of a dynamic type of guy.
Hmm.
KP Price, for his skill level in terms of his hitting, he's more of an enforcer. He can guard, he can cover, but he can lay down a hit, like a
Yep.
serious hit. So an impact player like that, like I really wouldn't be surprised if guys like if teams are already looking his way, truthfully. And you might see again with a guy like him, you might see a higher Power 5 school try to take advantage of that, especially with
Right.
being with NIL money. If he were to go in a better situation and his play level continues to be that way and also kind of skyrocket just a little bit, get a little bit better, yeah, this kid could very well end up being drafted in a good spot in the NFL draft, given that. So necessarily, if I had to pick somebody to leave for next year, whether it was him or Reed Harris, he'd
Hmm.
probably be the first one to go. So I do agree with that. I think it would be him.
Yeah, it's sad because he's so
It is sad though.
talented.
Yeah,
He's so talented.
he is so talented. No, yeah, he really is. And especially when healthy, if the team is rolling when he's healthy, they're in a good spot. But
Right.
how it looks right now, he might look at this situation like, yeah, I want to get I want my goal is to get it to the NFL. Let me go somewhere who, you know, can take my game to another level,
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. Quickly, even before we get out of here, you even see it like now with Oregon, the safety from Purdue, Dylan Thineman, or
Yep.
he's now on Oregon. He was a stud at Purdue.
Hmm.
Now he's in Oregon, and he doesn't have to do too much now because the defense is better.
Yep.
But you see more of him being more of a complete player, playing
Absolutely.
with guys to his level. That you look at him and okay, this guy doesn't have to be all over the field. He's just in one spot, and he's still being an enforcer. He's
Hmm.
grabbing picks. Like that's sometimes a better situation like that. You don't have to necessarily be the guy to do it all, but if you still fit in the defense schematically with better players, you get the eyes on you. If your
Yep.
team is winning, you get the eyes on you. So all it really is for KP Price, if he goes to a winning program, man, and he continues his play, yeah, I really see him doing some good things for real, and also getting drafted high,
Right.
because he does have the talent. He does.
Absolutely.
He does. Um, I will say before we get out of here, any final thoughts for tomorrow? Whether it's the Pats or the Celtics?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to see what they're gonna do against, excuse me, Stephon Diggs. That'll
Right.
be interesting.
Mm.
I know Stephon Diggs had very good last couple weeks, so
Right, right.
excuse me. So you just kind of want to see them build on that, and
Mm.
I'm really excited to see. Hopefully, Drake May can prove us all right
Right.
about the MVP type of caliber play. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, as far as tomorrow. But yeah, watching the all 22 was awesome.
Mhm.
For anyone watching, Noah and I are going to try and do a little breakdown. Hopefully, there will be some stuff for us to break down. We were going to do the Titans, but I just got tied up today. I know you've been tied up today, so I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah. I was just like, yeah, it's not even worth it.
That's fair. No,
No.
we can try. No, we can definitely try to do it for this next game too. Because honestly, it might
Yep.
be better to do it for this next game because now you should be able to see some good fit, like some quality film if everything
Yep.
goes right for Drake May. But you also get to see every play with fucking Myles Garrett and Will Campbell. So you're watching you're watching a lot more. You're seeing a
Yeah,
lot more as it
we're
goes
gonna
down.
be watching a lot of the offensive line chat.
Absolutely,
That is going to
absolutely,
be the bread and butter this week, especially
absolutely.
because, like I said before, they haven't really played up to par, honestly. And what Drake May is doing without them playing up to full par potential, we're gonna see what Will Campbell's about this week, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We are gonna
Yes.
see what Will Campbell's built and made out of because that defensive line is scary.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it should be a good game tomorrow. But again, hey, this is Will Campbell's biggest test yet. This could very well be his welcome to the NFL moment tomorrow. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? This is a game where he could put himself, and he's already somewhat put himself on the map. But if he has a good showing tomorrow, a lot. He'll be talked about a lot more because of this game. So
Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
let's see what happens tomorrow for the Pats. We'll see what also happens around the NFL tomorrow. And we'll see also what happens with the Celtics tomorrow. Hopefully, they can get their first win of the year against the Detroit Pistons. They will be playing in Detroit. The Pats will be playing at Gillette Stadium tomorrow.
Yep. Real
But with
quick
that,
too, shout out to the
okay.
Bruins for winning today. Obviously, no
That's right.
analysis.
Yeah, yeah. Hell
You
yeah.
guys will not see an analysis, but the Avalanche already beat us 4-1 this year. The Bruins have been struggling, just to keep it quick. The Bruins have been struggling a little bit, but today we have strong, resounding win against the Avalanche. And I like to see it. It was at home. It was great. Shout out to my boy Chris who went to the game today, and my boy Eddie. It was awesome. Good to see that. So that's also another thing, just because it's Boston based. So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. But yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. No,
yep.
yeah. I completely forgot the Bruins did play today. I will say one final thought before we get out of here. What
Nero, when we go
actually
into a
question for
Celtics
you.
game, when
Hmm?
we go into a Celtics game for a WTHHS Bay State blog, I know we gotta.
Yeah, we got to play. Yeah, we got to. No, we
I
definitely do
gotta
have to.
post the fucking other one, bro. I bet.
We do have to go slide. No facts. We do have to slide to one. That's a fact.
Yep,
And it's, yeah, there's gonna be.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, we really do. That would be
You and
cool.
I can go on TickPicks one of these days and see what's up
And
this
see
week
what's
or
up type
something.
shit. Hell yeah,
Yep.
hell yeah. Oh, and one final thought. One final thought. This is the last thought.
Yes, sir.
McAvoy versus McKinnon. How'd you feel about that?
Ooh, bro. Okay, so just quickly, I thought, bro, today the Avs tried us, and last year, if this was last year, we would have just folded. But
Yeah.
I love the togetherness, like seeing this new squad. Yes, offensively, we've been great. Defensively, we've been okay,
Mm,
and obviously Corpusalo sucks. So
right.
Corpusalo has cost us a couple games here and there, but J Sway has earned his money. I mean,
Yep.
tonight 3-2 against the Avalanche, dude. And honestly, real shit, it would have been 3-1 if his defense didn't let up there at the end of the game. But
Okay. Right. Right.
Jay Sway is earning every single piece of that contract this year. He played fucking amazing today, bro. Anything that came his way, it was just getting stopped. And he was seeing everything and it was beautiful. But yeah, to see the scrappiness from this team, the fight, just everybody protecting Jay Sway. Like last year, it looked like they were frustrated with him a little bit. To me, the vibe was a little bit off. But this year, I think, Swayman got acclimated. He had a full camp. As
Mm,
for some of you that don't know, that might be watching, or you might not even know, he went through what's called like an arbitration period when he first was negotiating his contract a couple years ago. And the Bruins played hardball. That's why the Bruins got stuck in a situation where they had to pay him eight by, I think it was like 60 or something.
mm,
So, um, yeah, so but he's earning every single penny. And I think, no training camp last year. He didn't really have a training camp last year because he had contract holdouts. So when he came in and they finally gave him his money, um, I think that, he had a tough season only because he wasn't acclimated in training camp and he was just thrown into the fold. And also our defense was way worse last year than what it is this year. I know
right.
Hampus Lindholm was out last year. He's been out this year so far, but shout out Dash and looking at the analytics charts and you can really see the difference without Hampus Lindholm out. So right now we are without Hampus Lindholm, who's probably other than McAvoy, he's our best defender for sure. I will say Zadorov has to go. I can't do it anymore. I know he's only
Yeah.
been here for half a fucking season, but now he's just got to go, dude. He's got
Yeah.
to get the fuck out of here. And I don't know what we're gonna do because we're stuck with that goddamn contract, and no one else is
Oh
gonna
yeah.
want to get stuck with that.
Mm,
So but yeah, I mean, like you said, man, McAvoy versus McKinnon, that shit was awesome. I thought that whole scrap with Geeky around Swayman and Swayman getting in there and punching people in the face, like, dude, this is the big bad Bruins. And I think we're going back to that identity. We've been playing physical, we've been hitting hard, we've been winning in the face-off circle, just we're getting back to our true identity. So it was
right.
just awesome to see against a championship level caliber team, especially they got Brock Nelson, Marty Natchez, who was up for MVP considered talks last year before he got traded to the Avs. You got Cale Makar, Norris Trophy winner, a champion, best defenseman in the league. Others might say Quinn Hughes, but I think it's Cale Makar. And then you got the depth too. You got Nichushkin, amazing player.
Mm,
Um, what's his name? Victor Olofsson is a great depth player too as well. Devon Tays, one of the best defensive. Probably Makar and Tays is probably the best defensive pairing in the league. So up against this elite team, this Bruins team that obviously offensively, when you look at it, obviously we cannot keep up with them offensively when it comes to just talent for talent. But today we won the game and didn't have to use talent. We beat them where it hurts the most for them. So we saw the Avs get knocked around. Us hockey fans saw the Avs get knocked around last year. They had
mm,
no business losing in the fucking first round.
yeah.
So, they definitely showed. a little bit of a fight, a little bit more fight as per usual today, and you love to fucking see it. So I'm rooting for the Bruins as always. It's my favorite team. So
Hmm.
you love to see the positives, especially in a year where the draft picks are definitely going to be probably high for us, like they were
Right.
last year. But
Mhm.
we have James Higgins, bro. He's coming through next year. It's going to
Yeah.
be awesome. I can't
No,
wait to get
facts.
my James. Can't wait to get my fucking James Higgins jersey when he gets here next year. So hopefully he gets here next year. He might go back to school again.
Mhm.
Um, I honestly, depending on how this season goes, which actually I will say. BC has been balling in
Mhm.
terms of just hockey itself, bro.
Right.
So the kid's 18 years old. I really want him to stay 2 years.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure if he's gonna stay 2 years. He might come through next year, but right now, he's playing out there in the NCAA,
Hmm.
and only 5 games have been played. But he's got 6 points already, man.
There you go.
And BC, obviously, as you know, very, very high level team for those watching. I mean, I know Nara, you already know that they're a high level hockey team, but this is a team that is up for championship discussion every single fucking year. They
Mhm.
win the Bean Pot a lot. They always go BC. For those that don't know what the Bean Pot is, BC versus BU, Northeastern versus Harvard.
Yep.
One of the best fucking tournaments in all of sports for college. So if you
Yep.
guys could ever go to the Bean Pot, it's cheap as hell. 100% get the experience. It's awesome. But you know, I'm very excited for the future. Right now, they're in a Celtic situation right now, bro. Actually,
Yeah.
to kind of describe it more
Mhm.
so, I guess maybe not in the terms of the previous year going into this year, but in terms of just like the expectations, very minimal.
Mhm.
So, yeah, no, just quick rundown of that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for letting me do that. Actually, real quick because we're streaming on Bay State too. So,
Facts. Facts. No. No. Absolutely. Like, yeah. Even for hockey, I know over here and what the hell's happening in sports. I know we don't talk about hockey as much, only because not for me. Like, oh, I'm not really a hockey guy. No, I'm really like, for me, like, I haven't. Not to say I'm not into hockey. It's
hmm,
just harder for me to follow because I'm not as familiar with the rules and whatnot. But
right.
I do support the Bruins when they do, like having Amari on here. And I know he's an avid Bruins fans. I know he's actually into hockey. He knows what's up and what really goes on. It's good for whoever's tuning in, not just for my people, but even for the Bay State media guys who do tune in also.
Yep.
To hear about that, because again, we talk about the Celtics, we talk about the Pats, we talk about the Red Sox, but quite frankly, for a long time, Boston. Well, truthfully, Boston's really a hockey town. It's all
Yes,
about
sir.
it's all about the Bruins, real shit. And there's been times where the Bruins have gone all the way. They won it in 11. They've gone to a couple Stanley
Went all the
Cups
way in 2019 too.
in 2019,
And
2020.
we got fucking sold. I don't care what anyone says. We should have won, and the refs fucked us.
Yes. Yes.
I really think they didn't want us to win, which is so fucked up.
Telling you, man. They always have it for when it comes to Boston, and quite frankly, all in all these leagues, they always try to have it against us. And
Right.
most of the times that we come out on top, but especially I will say for hockey, we do get fucked over a lot.
Yep.
We do, But I know obviously with the Bruins having a tough year last year, and they started off smooth so far this year. They went on a little bit of a rut. Again, this is a year where could the Bruins end up bottoming out? They could, but you just got to know, especially as a Bruin fan, every game that the Bruins are going to go into, they're going to fight. Whether it's a
Yes.
win or a loss, they're going to continue to fight.
Yep.
So
And we
it's not
actually do. We are in like a situation like the Celtics where wild card is should be there, and
right,
the way that the system works is almost similar to the NBA, somewhat enough to a point, just less. There's no like 9 and 10 really. It's really just 7, 8, 9, 10 really fight
right.
the same way that it is in the NBA, but the format is different. So I don't know why they actually changed the format. Recently, they changed the format like a couple years ago.
Huh.
So it's just so weird. But yeah, they're kind of in a Celtic situation too with that. Like, hopefully, we are aiming for like last year. We were in the wild card all the way up until a certain point, and then I think we just decided to tank. I'm not gonna lie to you,
Yeah.
honestly. But Pasternak had an amazing year, and actually, another interesting thing: Pasternak has knee tendonitis, chat. So knee tendonitis issues in hockey. You know how important knees are. You got to skate.
Mhm.
So that would be something to monitor if anybody that's watching or whatever the case may be that watches this. That is something to monitor. Is Pasta's
Absolutely.
knee tendonitis? It's serious. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And hockey is a tough sport. Hockey, you're going 100 miles an hour damn near every play, so
Yep.
you know what I'm
And
saying?
also, I also think that it's the hardest sport to play,
Oh, definitely.
other than baseball,
Yeah. Yeah.
for
I agree.
sure.
Because even so, when it comes to baseball, it's especially in the major leagues, it's hard to hit a fastball. Actually, well, it's not even in the major leagues. As you get older and guys start maturing and coming into their own
Yeah.
pitchers, you know what I'm saying? Certain positions, it gets harder. When it comes to hockey, when you really get to the big boys, yeah, that's some serious pound for pound shit going on. Real shit.
Yep.
On
That
every
too,
single
and
play. Every single play.
yo, goalie is so crazy to play. Like, really, I don't understand how people don't think that goalie is hard to play in hockey,
Right.
bro. That shit is actually, like, honestly, other than pitcher, definitely hardest fucking position to play in all
Right.
sports.
Right.
It's honestly probably not even close, to be real.
Hmm.
So, but
That's
yeah, thank you
yeah.
for having me on as per usual, bro. I
Oh, for
enjoy it.
sure. You already know. You already know. With that being said, Chad, again, like I said, let's see what happens tomorrow with the Pats. Let's see what happens tomorrow with the Celtics. Um, I should be most likely, depending on it, how everything goes tomorrow during the day. I may bring you some Pat stuff. That might wait till Monday night. I know the last few weeks, well, I have done it during Monday Night Football or after Monday Night
Mhm.
Football. So we'll see what happens with that. Tune
Well,
into the game.
you also have access to the Bay State Media NFL Plus, so
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
could also do a little bit of a dive into some plays, one or two plays, on
Oh,
Drake
for sure.
May, maybe
Yeah,
even
yeah.
on Dylan Gabriel,
Hmm.
for the defense's sake. But yeah,
Hell
yeah, but just remember you always have that too, so you can always use that too whenever you need for WTHHS.
type shit. Say that. Say that. No, I
Hmm.
appreciate that for sure. But yeah, chat. No, yeah, no. Let's again see what happens tomorrow. Um, and also for y'all respective teams tomorrow, good luck. Some teams got it, some teams ain't got it for
Hmm.
football. Some teams got it, some teams ain't got it for basketball. So best of luck to y'all. You already know the vibes. You already know who we were in for right there, guys. You ever when
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, Cash, yeah.
you know we already
Even
know.
though I'm a Chiefs fan,
No, facts. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
still okay. Disclaimer: even though I'm a Chiefs fan, I would never root for the Pats when we play against you guys.
That's
Never
fair.
in a million years. But
That's fair.
since I have obviously Massachusetts pride, like when I am not rooting for the Chiefs, I always wish for the Patriots to do well. Even though Tom Brady is the only nigga other than Joe Burrow that could say, and Jalen Hurts that could say they beat Patty Mahomes. That shit sickens me to my fucking stomach that nigga retired and Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes didn't even have a shot to. Well, he did have another shot to beat him, and Brady whooped our ass. So
yeah, yeah.
two times he lost to
Yeah,
Brady.
facts.
So.
That's facts. And in the biggest moments, Tom Brady got it. Tom
And
Brady got
maybe it might be. You never know. It could be Drake, man.
it.
You never
Hey,
know.
you never know. You never know. Let's see.
He's
Let's
that
see.
good right now. So
Exactly. Exactly. No, it's a bright future in New England, man. If you're a Pats
absolutely.
fan right now, I know it's been a tough couple years. Trust me. We've been spoiled for the last 25. We've been spoiled for over 20 years seeing Tom Brady. The
Yep.
last couple years was tough, but hey, if you're still with this pride right here, hey, and you believe in a kid like Drake, man, believe in this team, and believe in a guy like Mike Vrabel leading the charge, good
Hmm.
things will happen. But
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
chat. With that being said, this has been another edition of What the Hell is Happening Sports. It's your boy, the one and only Narrow, with my guy Amari Scott, Mr. Bay State Media himself.
Yes, sir.
And I had glad he's a part of this when he's on. Couldn't thank him enough. But yeah,
Absolutely. Can't thank you enough, bro.
appreciate
Absolutely.
you. Yeah, you already know. But yeah, chat. Hey, tune in
Come
the
watch football with us in the Discord.
yeah, facts.
WTHS will have their own section soon. We are
Hell
working
yeah.
on the
Hell
Discord.
yeah.
I can't lie, we haven't really updated it, but we will have college football roles for you guys. We'll have all the schools for you guys
Hmm.
very soon. Actually, I'm about to talk to Ant and fucking Ben about that in 2 seconds in Discord. So
Say that. Word, word, word. But yeah, guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like, subscribe to What the Hell's Happening in Sports. Like and subscribe to the Bay State Media
yes,
as
sir.
well on YouTube. It's easy to find them. Just type the name in.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
hell yeah, guys. But
Yes, sir.
overall, y'all, I love y'all. I hope y'all sleep well.
Same to
Yeah,
you, brother.
of course, of course. Tune in to us. We'll be back very soon.
Hmm.
Maybe probably less than 24 hours. So, and
Yes, sir.
hell yeah. Good night,
Yep.
chat. Good night, chat.
Good night, chat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.